Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into a really fascinating and maybe a little controversial piece of PC hardware.
Oh yeah, the Asus Hyper M.2 X16 V2 adapter card.
That's the one. Okay, so let's just lay out the core promise here because, it's incredibly seductive.
It really is.
You take one single PCIe slot on your motherboard, plug this thing in, and suddenly you've got 4 full-speed M.2 NVMe drives.
Theoretically unlocking something like, 128 gigabytes per second of bandwidth? It's a wild number.
It sounds like the perfect solution, right, for anyone who's running out of M.2 slots or for someone like you who's dreaming of building that ultimate NVMe RAID array.
And that's the pitch that gets everyone.
Yeah.
But our mission today is to figure out if this card is really that dream solution.
Or if it introduces a bunch of technical headaches that, you don't discover until after you've already bought it.
Exactly. Because on the surface, the card looks robust. It has active cooling, a big heatsink. It even says it supports things like Intel VROC and AMD Threadripper RAID.
That active cooling seems pretty essential. You're stacking 4 NVMe drives right next to each other.
They're going to get toasty. That little blower fan is there to stop them from thermal throttling and killing your performance.
Okay, but that's not the real story here, is it?
No, that's not it. The key detail, the one the marketing sort of glosses over, is that this card is a passive adapter.
Passive. So what does that actually mean?
It means the card has no brain. There's no dedicated PCIe switch chip on there to manage the traffic.
So it's not actually routing anything itself?
Not at all. It's really just a physical bracket for the drives. The intelligence, all the heavy lifting, has to come from your motherboard.
Which is where this thing called bifurcation comes in.
Bifurcation. That is the million-dollar word here. It's your motherboard's ability to take that big single by 16 slot and, well, split it.
Chop it up into smaller lanes.
Precisely. To get all 4 drives working, your system's BIOS has to have the option to configure that slot into the by 4 by 4 by 4 by 4 mode.
And if it doesn't have that exact mode in the BIOS settings,
then the card can't see all 4 drives. Maybe it sees 1, maybe 2, and you've just bought what one user called expensive decoration.
wow, so you can't just, use software RAID to get around that.
Nope. It's a fundamental hardware limitation. It all comes down to the CPU and the chipset actually providing those physical lanes to the slot.
And most mainstream boards don't do that.
A lot of consumer Z-series boards, for instance, can maybe split the slot by 8 by 8, but not the 4-way split you need.
So to really use this thing properly, you're pretty much forced onto a high-end desktop platform.
You're in Threadripper territory, or certain workstation Xeon setups. Platforms where the CPU just has a ton of PCIe lanes to spare.
So we're back to that classic scenario.
Yeah.
The experience is totally different depending on your build. For a Threadripper user who's done their homework, it's brilliant.
It's amazing. But if you just bought it for your gaming PC without checking that deep spec sheet,
It's a complete failure.
a total frustration point. And even when it works, some people report that little fan can get pretty loud, especially with 4 hot Gen 4 drives all running at once.
You solve a heat problem, but maybe create a noise one.
It's a trade-off.
Okay, so the final analysis for you is this. The Asus Hyper M.2 card is a seriously powerful tool, but it comes with a huge asterisk.
A massive one. You have to meticulously check your motherboard's BIOS and CPU support for that by 4 by 4 by a 4 by 4 split.
And if you only need to add one M.2 drive, just get a simple, cheap adapter. You'll avoid all of this complexity.
Absolutely. What's so fascinating here is that the hardware works perfectly, but the ecosystem around it is just so complicated. We went looking for 128 gigabytes per second.
And found out the most important spec is compatibility.
Right. So the final thought for you to mull over is this. In this race for higher and higher speeds, are we buying tech that's locked behind prerequisites that are just, impractical for the average enthusiast?